Hello students, it is week 6, May 26th through the 29th. This is your new assignment for the week, and for many of you, this will be your last assignment of high school, which is crazy to think about, but here we go. Instructions for this video: finish watching the video, and then you're going to read the full article. The link is over on my website. You're going to complete the assignment over on my website, ozahlc.com. Remember, if you need any help along the way, my contact info is in the description. So here we go. This is what we're going to talk about today: life after graduation. So what I have done is I have compiled a list from various blogs and resources. I've made a list of 20 things that you should do after your high school graduation before moving on with the rest of your life, whether the next step of your life is going to a community college, a four-year college, a trade school, the workforce, the military, whatever it may be. All of these suggestions are things that you should do after your high school graduation. So this, by the way, is a picture of me graduating from college. Actually, this is about 10 years old now. Good memories, good times, and hopefully some of this advice will be useful for you. So let's jump right into the first quote. First quote from the article comes from an author named Olivia Santo from blog.suny.edu, and her advice is about budgeting your money. So here's the quote. One of the most important lessons you'll learn your freshman year is how to budget. With your newfound freedom, it can get pricey paying for food, transportation, entertainment, and not to mention all the necessities for your dorm room. Be proactive and set a spending limit for yourself each month and keep track of your spending while taking tuition, room, and board into consideration. So obviously she has a focus here on, living on campus and going to college, but this advice definitely applies to anyone who is done with high school and moving on to a trade school or to a community college, living on campus or living at home or living in an apartment, any living situation. But basically, what she's informing you here is be proactive, set a spending limit, and keep track of your spending. Really good advice here, especially if you have a part-time or a full-time job, and you have some income. So here's a little bonus advice from Mr. Oza. You can see here in the corner this monthly budget illustration. Keep a record of your budget, which means make a chart. On one side of the chart, your income. That means money going into your account. So that is the money that you make from, whatever job that you might have. On the other side of the chart, track your expenses. That's all the money going out of your account, whether that's rent or tuition or car payments or insurance payments or, paying for food or, just whatever you might be spending your money on. And make sure that your income is always going to be higher than your expenses, right? And then you're going to able to have a little bit of a surplus every month. Take that surplus, take that money, and call that your emergency fund. So you have a little bit of money stashed away, to save up for things that you might want to buy, like big purchases like a car, or obviously if some sort of emergency happens and you need to, spend money quickly. After you've built up a decent emergency fund, then you can start looking into investing your extra money, right? You guys are young, 18, 19, 20 years old. If you start investing now, you can perhaps triple your investments within 20 years. Of course, investing does involve risks, so no guarantees, but historically the stock market does give you pretty good return on your investment. So, whatever you're able to put away at age 20, you can theoretically triple that money by age 40. All right, so budgeting your money and just thinking about your personal finances in general is one of the biggest things you can do to help yourself out as you graduate from high school. It's also one of my favorite things to talk about and teach about, aside from English, obviously. So get in touch with me if you want some help or advice on this topic. All right, second quote. This one comes from authors Jeremy S. Hyman and Lynn F. Jacobs from usnews.com. And they suggest get yourself checked up. Along with your wheels, your body might need a tune-up. So get to your doctor and make sure everything is in good order before you head out. It's a good idea too to have any prescriptions filled. While colleges usually have health services on campus, they vary in quality, and you'll feel more comfortable talking to a doctor that you already know. Extra pointer: be sure to get on top of your health insurance status. With healthcare reform now going into place, your coverage and your eligibility for your parents may have changed. So this is just a way of saying, watch out for your health. And there's a lot of different circumstances that get involved when you're talking about your health. First of all, insurance. Do you have health insurance? Is it through the government? Is it through your employer? Or is it through your parents? All right. You should know now how your health insurance situation is set up. All right. When you get a little bit older, you got to start worrying about your health a little bit more. So here's Mr. Oza's bonus information here. As you've grown up and now you're hitting age 18, maybe you're not as worried about your diet or exercise or, your health and wellness, even your mental health, but now that you're an adult and you're a high school graduate, it's time for you to take responsibility for your own health. All right? And that means maybe getting some exercise, finding something that you like to do. Maybe it's jogging, maybe it's swimming, maybe it's playing basketball, but incorporating that into your daily routine. All right? Finding out what you like to do. All right? Eating habits, up until age 18, 19, maybe that's not exactly a primary concern of yours, but now as you get a little bit older, maybe you want to, try and look after your diet a little bit more and just be more aware of what you're putting into your body and having a good eating schedule. All right. So if you're able to do all of this stuff when you're in your late teens and early 20s, then you're going to be better off when you're older and you're in your 30s and you're in your 40s and you have one of these little creatures creeping around. All right. So yes, taking care of your health, your healthcare, your insurance situation is definitely something that you should focus on, especially now that you have a little time and you are done with high school. All right, so now I want you to read all 20 of those tips. Those are just two that we went over. ozahlc.com, as you know by now, is the website where you can find the link to this article. It's a collection of articles that I have put together myself. Username at ozahlc.com is your first name and the first letter of your last name. Password is going to be OZA211. Here's a look at the unit at a glance. We are now on week number 6, Life After High School. If you need to finish the first 5, they are right here, all in a nice, neat list. So here's the first question of this assignment. Answer the questions below in a short paragraph of 3 to 5 sentences and use a quote from the article to support your answer. So what does the article say about managing your finances? There are a couple of bullet points on the list about managing finances. What is some advice Mr. Oza has about finances from this video? And I'll tell you again right now, you want to track your expenses. Okay, track your income and track your expenses. Make sure that your income is always higher than your expenses. Save your money, create an emergency fund, and then once you have a solid emergency fund, you can start investing the rest of it. And so the final question here is, what will you do to keep your finances organized? What is your plan? Are you going to track it online using one of these online trackers like mint.com or Personal Capital? Are you just going to write it down by hand? I recommend doing both to just kind of reinforce your plan and what you're doing. Keeping your personal finances organized might seem annoying or like a tedious task, but you guys, this is the number one most important thing you can do for yourself to set up a good future. Get on top of your finances now. Ask questions. Don't be ashamed if you don't know. People are out there, people like me are out there to help you. If you keep your finances organized at a young age, you are going to be thanking yourself when you get a little bit older. All right, next question, 3 to 5 sentences. Use a quote from the article or the video to support your answer. So, what does the article say about health insurance and medical care? What is some advice that you learned from reading? Secondly, what is Mr. Oza's specific advice about health? And again, I'll tell you right now, if you get into good habits in your late teens and early 20s, you're going to live a long and happy life. When you're in your 40s, 50s, 60s, you don't want to be dealing with health problems, right? It's going to make those years difficult for you and your family. If you get into good habits, a little bit of exercise, a decent meal schedule, that doesn't mean just eating the right foods, but it means eating on a proper schedule, a regular set schedule. If you're able to do that stuff when you're young and you are, establishing good habits, your future self will be thanking you. So finally here, what is your plan to take care of your body and mind? Because remember, mental health is just as important as physical health. So what are you going to do to also help out your mind? All right, last one. Again, 3 to 5 sentences and use a quote. What did you find to be the most helpful piece of advice from the article or video? And what do you think was the least helpful piece of advice from the article or video? Share your opinions there. And then the most important question of all, and perhaps the last question that you will have to answer as a high school student, right here. What is your plan for after high school? What are you going to do to ensure your success? So that does it for this assignment, and for many of you, that does it for high school, which is crazy to say. It's been an honor to be your teacher. Thank you so much for being a member of my class. It's been a crazy, kind of strange end to the school year, but it's unique. It's an experience I'll never forget. I hope you guys are all staying healthy. So again, that's going to do it. Thank you so much for watching. My contact information is in the description of this video if you ever need to get in touch about anything regarding this assignment, other school stuff, or life after graduation. So again, thank you guys.